Bong, bong, bong. I know. That's very interesting. Hello. Hi, everybody. Hello, Kate. Hello, Ray. Oh, Knoxville, Tennessee. That's going to be cold. Sorry about the weather that's headed your way. Max Columbus, hello. How's it going? Hope you had a wonderful day. SML, great to see you. Guys, guess what? We have a very special guest today. That guy. Oh, that is little Ben. He is not little anymore. He's growing up way too fast, and I hate it. Ben, how cold was it coming in to work with your mom today? Super duper cold. And that is the weather report from 30 Rock. Back to you in the control room. So if you're just joining us, this is Stay Tuned Now, as you can see from this thing over here. And my name is Gotti Schwartz. I'm a correspondent and a host of Stay Tuned Now here on NBC News. And if you're tuning in and you've never seen this before, we'll just give you the rundown. This is the news, but this is the pre-party for the news. And we do it a little bit differently for Stay Tuned Now. We like to chat with the chat. That's you right here. Max Columbus, James, SML, Kate, always in the comments, always there. This is our little community. Don't tell people. We want it to stay small. And we love hearing what you guys think about the news. So feel free to use this comment section to sound off, be polite, be respectful. But yeah, we always want to see what you think about the news. And we've found that in this comment section, we can always keep tabs on, how people feel about the types of things that they're seeing play out in society. And that's our job. Our job is to listen, and our job is to observe, and our job is to tell you what's happening around the world and let you decide how you want to live your life. So that is what we are committed to doing, and we're committed to doing it with a little bit of fun here. It's the last show before maybe some of you go to sleep, so maybe the world's not going to end. Maybe things are going okay, maybe they're not. But we're going to infuse as much optimism as we possibly can in these crazy, crazy days of news. That being said, today our lead story is this insane weather, this storm that is going to put ice and snow for thousands and thousands of miles across the ground. It is going to be some dangerous, treacherous conditions. We're hoping the power grid stays up. Priscilla Thompson is holding it down. We've got Ryan Chandler out there in the cold in Texas, Dallas, I believe. We're going to be going to him in just a bit. He's not wearing gloves. I'm very concerned about his fingers, but gloves and the phone, they don't work very well. But you can see over there, if you can make him out, he's just texting away with bare hands. That is like that's a low move for a correspondent. Bare hands and no ear protection. And then you got these IFBs that are just digging into your ears in the cold. I'm telling you, that is like the hardest job. And we do it. Yeah, look, here's everybody. We do it to make you feel warm at home and to tell you what's going on outside. So, Ben is very excited for his first stream ever. Jesse just entered the chat. What's up, Jesse? It's supposed to be negative 25 with a wind chill of negative 40 in Watertown. Jeez, that makes me so cold here. Let me check the weather outside real fast. Hold on. Oh, man, that is negative 40. Yikes. Yeah, it's, sorry. Sorry, Lisa. So sorry.
Why do you gotta just rub that in?
It's a low of 52. It is good. I'm gonna have to put on a jacket heading home. Yeah, this is a one time when you guys were all, oh, poor California, atmospheric rivers. We get a break during this storm, and the rest of the country, 200 million people right now are under a storm advisory. So yeah, we're very grateful to be here in Southern California. I'm here on Universal Studio, The Lot, Lisa up there, she's in the control room at 30 Rockefeller Center in the heart of Manhattan.
It is a balmy 26 degrees here right now.
26 degrees, yikes. So we've got our team everywhere. Lisa is the executive producer of the show. Actually, Lisa's the co-executive producer of the show. Ben is the main executive producer of the show today. And we've got a big team, a lot of people out in New York, a lot of people here in LA, bringing you the news every single day. Check my weather in Northport. You're in Northport? Yeah, what's it looking like over there? Jesse, I hope not. Can you do that, really? Do they have wool socks in the NFL? Let's see. Realize. Ooh. Yo, I really love that name. That was a bite. I see where you're coming from. Appreciate your perspective. Australians in concert in Los Angeles. Saw them in Dallas before. Was that pretty fun? Let's see, Max. Appreciate you do watch it all. Yes. Yes, we can't wait to see the journalist you blossom into, Max. It's going to be so fun. Northport, Florida. Yeah, SML, tell us how it is. But no spamming today, SML. You promised to be on the best behavior. So, check of the time, 4:51. This is 9 minutes before showtime. And again, if you guys are just dropping in and you're like, what the heck is this? This is coming from NBC News. This can't be right. Why aren't they talking about the news? We will talk about the news in just 8 minutes. But we want to hear from you before we do. And if you do want the news right now, you can check on the other stream if you're watching on YouTube, and you can watch the end of Top Story. That is hosted by Tom Yamas, and it's the show that comes before Stay Tuned. It is an awesome show. Then it goes Stay Tuned. Then I believe it goes Tom Yamas, Top Story again. Before that, Hallie Jackson. She is in Washington, but she was not in Washington today. She had the day off, so we filled in for her. Live from Tokyo. What? No, July new YouTube handle? What time is it in Tokyo? Will Gotti be the first Fast and Furious coaster? Please, give me that coaster.
Gotti,
Too Fast, Too Furious Tokyo Drift is one of my favorite movies of all time. Hi, Ben.
Okay.
Are you going to come ride the roller coaster with me?
I heard the person
You should
who
probably
said
come out.
about Tokyo, and guess what? For Catholic Schools Week, we're doing stuff on Japan.
Oh, really?
Here, wait. What did you
Wow.
learn about Japan?
So we're
We haven't learned
We'll have to get back to you next week.
Nice. I can't. Yeah, now you got
Catholic
a homework
schools, yeah.
assignment, Ben. Oh my gosh. Astra is electronica, and you'll love it. She can hit as many octaves as Mariah Carey. Boom, sold. I will be checking her out. Let's see. Yes, Tim. What?
That's the
Tim?
person from Tokyo.
That's awesome. Speaking of electronica, guys, we have the best story at the end of the show. It is about a supermarket that is not your normal everyday supermarket. They go so hard every night. It's a dance party. Filipino community shows up. Everybody's dancing. Like they've got DJs pumping, and yeah, it's a cool thing. So we're gonna tell you where that is coming up. Ooh, this is some good. Thank you, Big Mike. We got Big Mike over here. We got Mao. They're just Mao's probably telling all of his friends, yo, hey, get on TikTok and YouTube and watch my amazing camera work. Anytime you see the cameras like zooming and moving and doing everything, just know that that's Mao on what we call the Ronin. And if you hear a weird noise in the middle of the show, that's the Artemo. Like, did you know about this, Lisa? The Artemo is making some really, really weird noises in the middle of shots. So I don't know if we have to use some like WD-40 to, it's the Artemo, okay? Artemo. Yikes. Anyway, come over to Florida for spring break. That would be amazing. I think our spring break is gonna be a little closer to home because we got little people, and little people don't do well on planes for a very long time. All right, so we are gonna go through the rundown real fast. Give me 2 seconds, gotta lock in here. Okay.
Buddy.
Let's see.
Okay.
Is it
Are you
Yeah,
nine?
good?
new story.
It's
Everybody get
I mean,
prepared.
it's
5 more minutes until the story starts.
5 more minutes. That's right. 5 more minutes. We got the 5-minute timer from Ben over here. You guys want the tour? It looks like they want the tour. Should we give them the tour, Ben? All right. Let's see here. I'm gonna do this thing. All right. Here we go, Max. Here's a tour. This is the big wall. It's a very, very big wall. All right. So the big wall, and then we'll turn all the way around. And this is what the whole studio looks like. You've probably seen every nook and cranny, every piece of this corner. Those are the windows over there. So to the windows to this wall over here is where most of the news happens. And then we've got these 3 cameras. We've got 3 robot cameras. These 2, and then this is the Artimo behind me making some sketchy noises. Then we've got Mao over here. We've got a pretty cool setup. We really love this thing. I love it. I don't know if they do, but it's definitely a workout. So we've got the little setup right here. This is on a DJI Ronin, and then we've got a little Sony. Is that an, what is that one? An A? FS, I think it's FX6. And then, let's see. We've got a little control room. What time is it? 50, okay. We've got 3 minutes. We've got a little control room right here that we don't use because we're using the one over where Lisa is. Okay, boom. Here's this little control room. And then, you want to see outside real fast? This is Los Angeles, LA River. This is where, you know, when it is atmospheric rivering on us, that's where we go to check and see how bad it's gotten. What time? 2.5 minutes. We got plenty of time. All right, Max. Here we go. Ready? Hold on. I got you. I got you. All right. Losing connectivity here a little bit. Boom. This is the big control room. That's men right there. You never leave a man behind. That is Kevin over there. Kevin is the mastermind behind the whole stream. All right. Hey, what's up, guys? There we go. We got everybody here. Lavon, that's Kate. And that's the big control room. Okay. What's our time back? Yikes. Beware of robots. Okay. That's like the motto of our show. You know, it's exciting times. It's also dangerous times. All right, here we go. Hi, Kevin. Aw, Tina says hi. Hi, chat. Gonna pivot to YouTube? Good idea. Yeah. Come hang out in the YouTube chat. It's a little different than the TikTok chat. Alex. What's up, Alex? 90. 90. Hunter Burke is in the house. What's up, Hunter? We don't have a new one. 90 seconds? Yeah. Okay, perfect. All right, listen to it. There we go. That's what the winter storm is looking like right now, and it is just starting. And again, it's going to be 2,000 miles of ice and snow. Yikes. All right, here we go. The weather is not great, and we're going to be checking in with Ryan Chandler in just a second. He's just been out there.
1 minute.
And that jacket does not look super warm. I hope he's got like a heated vest or something underneath. We got 1 minute out. I'm just going to check a look. So right now, again, this is a time where like we get kind of nervous. You guys make me feel a little less nervous. Start out, go through the top of the show. Everything is ready to go. All right, let's get in position because we're going breaking news right off the top here. I'm going to put this up. All right, Lise, Ben, have a great show. Have a great show, everybody in New York. 25 seconds. Thanks, brother. Have a good show.
15.
And We are starting tonight outside in Dallas, Texas, with freezing rain on the camera lens. It is the very beginning of a major winter storm that is expected to affect roughly a third of the country tonight and throughout the weekend. The thing is just getting started over the plains of North Texas. You can already see it developing here on radar. Now, the NBC Weather Service, the weather unit, is forecasting heavy snow, freezing rain, a blast of Arctic air, all a dangerous setup for power outages, potentially, and some horrible travel. We are already seeing early impacts tonight. Lake effect snow being blamed for a jackknifed 18-wheeler out in Indiana. And on the tarmac at Denver International, the de-icers are out in full force. A lot of airports already seeing delays, and airlines are warning of more to come. This storm is stretching nearly 2,000 miles, and our crews are standing by with live coverage over the next hour and throughout the weekend. Let's start with Ryan Chandler, who's out in Dallas right now. Ryan, are you starting to see that changeover happening from rain to sleet at all yet?
Well, not quite yet, Gotti, but you can feel out here the temperature is dropping fast. We expect to break the tipping point into the freezing territory sometime overnight, early Saturday morning. But we actually hope that we get from this rain to sleet as quickly as possible, because in between those two phases is the very dangerous freezing rain. It's been raining all day already in Dallas, and as that freezing front comes in, the worry is that it's all going to freeze over, creating those treacherous highway conditions, threatening trees and power lines. The message reiterated by everybody across North Texas up into Oklahoma today is it is going to get dangerous outside. Stay home. Got it.
Yeah, some very good advice there. Ryan Chandler, thank you. Meanwhile, out in Oklahoma, they are about to get slammed with a triple threat of snow, sleet, ice. It's already coming down in some areas in the form of hail, and you can see it starting to cover the ground there. Schools in Oklahoma City have shut down as they are expected to be one of the hardest hit cities throughout this storm. Let's bring in Bill Cairns, who is timing things for us. In fact, Bill, if we've got you, once that changeover starts, how quickly can conditions go downhill? Bill. Hey there, Bill. It looks like we're having a little bit of trouble here with audio, but when does it look like this storm is gonna be over?
Tomorrow, and then Sunday we get to the East Coast. So as far as the ice impacts go, this area in blue, in the dark blue, if we get power outages for days, which we really hope we don't, but this is the area that it would likely occur in northern Louisiana. So we're going from Alexandria, we're heading northwards up to Greenville and Greenwood, Mississippi. Jackson, Mississippi, you're kind of on the edge of some of this. Tupelo to Oxford, definitely the bullseye. Some of the highest ice totals we see with the storm could be near you. And then how far north this gets up to Nashville is also a story. Will Nashville get mostly sleet, which we hope? You love sleet. You know, it's kind of hard to say, but compared to freezing rain, sleet you just push away and it blows away. You can, get rid of it. The ice on the trees, freezing rain, you can't. And the other area of great concern, Atlanta, Columbia, Charlotte, Asheville, heading up towards the Raleigh area, Winston-Salem, Greensboro. Those are all areas that could have significant icing problems. And then the snow, if you're lucky with this storm, you just get all snow and you just push it out of the way. It's not going to be fun in Oklahoma City, but you're not looking at ice at least. Historic possible, up to almost 12 inches. St. Louis, decent snowfall for you too. This snowfall in Louisville, the all-time city record for a two-day snowfall is 15 inches. We're not going to be too far away from that, somewhere on the Ohio River, and isolated areas could be even higher than that. And then finally, as we get into the northeast, you can deal with it. You're used to it, but still 12 to 18 inches is a lot of snow to move, and plus you got a lot of snow on the ground in some areas, so you got to pile that up. Gotti, the I-95 corridor is a little more complicated. Boston looks to be almost all snow. That's why you're 10 to 16. New York is mostly snow, and then with a little bit of sleet probably towards the end of the storm. D.C. goes from heavy snow over to sleet, maybe some freezing rain. So there it could be very ugly. And then the final piece of this whole puzzle is the cold. I mean, 200 million people are under cold headlines. And as we go towards Monday morning, this is the brutal part. This is where, Gotti, Houston's already canceled classes for Monday because they know it's going to be 21 degrees. There's going to be some ice out there, not a thick ice, not power outages, but not safe for kids to be walking or going on the sidewalks, things like that. But these areas that I talked about where the power is going to be out, a lot of Mississippi, temperatures are going to be in the teens or single digits, wind chill near zero. So you're going to have hundreds, if not thousands, of power crews out there and people with chainsaws trying to repair and get life back to normal for people, not to mention all the people living in their homes without power, some without heat. Where are they going to go? How many shelters are going to be open? Will we have nursing homes that don't have power? Things like that are going to make this story last well into next week.
Yeah, hoping the power stays on. Thanks so much, Bill. Speaking of Oklahoma, they are about to get slammed with that triple threat of snow, sleet, and ice, and it's already started coming down in some areas in the form of hail. You can see it starting to cover the ground schools in Oklahoma City. They have shut down as they are expected to be one of the hardest hit cities during this storm. Let's bring in our friend Candace Sweat from our NBC Dallas station, who is out there in Oklahoma City tonight. It looks like they're already starting to gather some of that salt, get it out on the roads. I think earlier I heard you say something about beets too. Are beets mixed into there? And what are you seeing out there tonight?
Right, Gotti, that was actually news to me as well. Apparently, a 5% beet juice solution helps to keep the ice from really gathering on the roads once it starts to come down, because once we get to a certain temperature, sand and salt and brine just won't work. So apparently beets do. They are eco-friendly as well as cost-effective. But it is incredibly cold out here. We're starting to see the first signs of precipitation, freezing rain, and the wind. It is incredibly cold. It cannot be stressed enough that this is going to be a really rough 72 hours here in Oklahoma, particularly, of course, where we are, Oklahoma City. So people are being advised to hunker down, stay in, and stay warm and safe. Gotti.
Yeah, beet juice. You learn something new every day. How are people and officials out there preparing?
Well, the people of Oklahoma, Oklahomans are resilient. They are heeding these warnings. We ran into a few people at the stores today getting the essentials, the bread, the milk, the eggs, and the essentials that they need. Also grabbing that ice, bags of ice, salt rather, to lay down at their homes, in their driveways for when the roads do start to ice over. They have those bags of salt laid down at their home so they can get out. Officials are prepared as well. We were at the Department of Emergency Management earlier today, and they have crews working around the clock. They have crews stationed all over the state, ready to go when the time comes. The governor also has deployed the Oklahoma National Guard to help with roadside assistance when that time comes. If there are stranded motorists, people who are out and about and get stranded, again, the governor decided to go ahead and give the green light to the National Guard for that assistance. Gotti.
Wow. And meanwhile, you've heard about all of the concerns about the power going out in Texas. Do they have the same concerns out there in Oklahoma?
Well, that is a concern here in Oklahoma as well, but the Oklahomans here have been really reassured by their state and local officials that they've been in touch with power companies, and they are ready for whatever comes over the next 72 hours. Gotti.
Thanks so much, Candace Sweat. Thank you for all of that. And turning now to the latest in the conditions out there, we are joined by the Deputy Director of Emergency Management from Dallas, Travis Houston. Travis, what are your biggest concerns as this storm makes its way through your state?
Yeah, thanks for having me on to discuss. So overall, our biggest concern is going to be the ice accumulations. Really, if we see significant ice accumulations, that's when we're going to start seeing, moderate to major impacts to both travel and the power infrastructure. And so as we see this storm come through over the next 24 plus hours, that's really what we're going to be looking for.
And what's a plan to keep roads clear and people safe with this much snow, this much ice expected on the ground?
So the plan it didn't start just now. It's been going for several days. TxDOT has already been pre-treating the highways. City forces have also been out already starting today, scouting certain areas to see where slick spots might already start occurring. And then starting tonight, we're going to be in 24/7 operations through the duration of this event, sanding roads, particularly focused on those big major thoroughfares, public safety facilities, hospitals, to make sure that people can get to the most critical places through this event.
And God forbid the lights go out or the power gets cut. What do people need to remember during a storm like this?
So a couple of things, we are at the end of the time to wrap up any preparation. Starting tonight is really when conditions will start to deteriorate. And so it's important that you're finalizing any preparation that you're doing at your home. Make sure those devices are charged. Make sure that, if you have flashlights, that the batteries work. All of those things are going to be really important. And then also we ask people to, drip those faucets, open cabinets where the pipes are to make sure that those stay warm, because that's another concern as well.
Wow, that is such a, one of those things that you forget until it is too late and, you got ice inside of the house. Do you think that the big question tonight, obviously, is the power grid and what's going to happen? And we know it sounds like the power grid, there are plans in place, but the lines are a whole different story. How do you think things are going to play out over the weekend here?
So, just looking at the forecast and, talking with our infrastructure providers, I think that it's likely that we will see impacts somewhere. The scope and scale of those impacts is yet to be seen based on just how much ice accumulates, but we know that it's a risk. Where ice accumulates on trees, where it accumulates on power lines could cause problems. What I'm thankful for is that we have good partnerships with our local power distribution company, Encore, and they've staged a lot of resources here in Dallas. They're nearby, and we work together. They'll be in our emergency operations center so that when we have a problem, we can work together as a team to go and help them get to where they need to go to start repairing those lines. From the grid perspective, everything I've seen so far indicates that there are lots of reserves. Obviously, 2021 is the thing that sticks in everyone's mind and was a high water mark for these types of storms. But I will say that really significant changes have been made since then. And so we're hopeful that those reserves are sufficient through this event. But as an emergency manager, we're always planning for the worst case scenario.
Yeah, we're just seeing these images of the cityscape there as the storm has now begun. That cityscape is going to get obscured very, very soon. Travis Houston, good luck. We're really hoping everything goes according to plan, and really hoping that power stays on. Thank you. And we're going to have a lot more coverage of the cross-country winter storm in just a bit. But up next, what we're learning about the arrest of a guy by the name of Ryan Wedding. He is a former Olympian turned top 10 most wanted fugitive. Plus, there's a new AI trend, apparently getting your AI chatbot high on virtual drugs. I promise that is an actual thing that is happening in this world. And we're going to break down why they're doing that later this hour. So stay tuned.
All right, 2 minutes.
All right, 2 minutes. Yeah. Hey, what? Ah, okay. Got it. And so I didn't have Bill's audio until the second question. Could you guys hear him? Okay, Bill.
90.
Okay. All right. Got it. Live television, people, this is how the sausage is made. Meanwhile, Ben just putting out alarm fires over there. during commercial break, hey, can I do another tour where I keep the chair? No, not right now. Maybe later. You didn't like that other tour? I worked really hard on it. Jesse, I had an uncle who drove a salt truck in Kansas City, and he could get 90 hours a week if they just had a bad storm, and he said you would pull up in the truck and take a nap while they filled it up with salt. That is hero mode. Jesse, shout out to your uncle. He and all of the other salt truck drivers out there are what keep society
45.
functioning when a storm like this happens. Tina says, didn't hear Bill until the end of the, can't wait to hear the toasted AI story. Jesse, yeah, this is gonna be a, we did some experimenting, and apparently, allegedly, like ChatGPT was being super square with my producers, but getting a little crazy when I asked it to do stuff. So I'm gonna tell you about that in just a bit. All right, here we go. 15 seconds. And then Lise, can you text me whatever we're adding in?
5, 4, 3.
Hey, welcome back. Here are some of the other headlines we are watching tonight. 5 suspects have been arrested in the shooting of an Indiana judge and his wife. Stephen Meyer and his wife, Kimberly, were both shot in their home on Sunday. Now, one of the suspects is a high-ranking member of the Phantom motorcycle gang. He was set to appear in front of the judge just 2 days after the shooting. And Luigi Mangione is back in court once again, this time to figure out the logistics of his federal murder trial. Now, jury selection is set to start September 8th, but the timeline for opening statements, well, that's going to depend on whether the prosecution can pursue the death penalty, with possible trial dates ranging from October to maybe even early 2027. Mangione is accused of killing the CEO of United Healthcare and has since pled not guilty. And the Illinois surgeon Michael McKee, accused of killing his ex-wife and dentist husband in their Ohio home, appeared remotely for his arraignment in Franklin County. He is pleading not guilty. McKee is charged with the December deaths of Monique and Dr. Spencer Tepe, whose young kids were inside the home. They were fortunately unharmed. Prosecutors say surveillance and ballistic evidence tie McKee to that double homicide. And a 2-year-old has been found safe after he was kidnapped in the backseat of a stolen car in Colorado Springs. Now, the car was found abandoned and the kid was found safe in the back seat, but police have not identified the person who stole that car, and it's unclear whether the person that stole it had any relationship with that child. And in South Carolina, the Department of Public Health has reported 54 new cases since Tuesday. Now, this case has had 700 cases of the measles since an outbreak in October. There are currently over 480 people in quarantine and 10 in isolation. And from the slopes to federal custody tonight, a former Olympic athlete is behind bars after more than a decade on the run. This is Ryan Wedding we are talking about, and that's him when he competed in snowboarding for Canada. Fast forward to today. This is him after getting arrested by the FBI in Mexico late last night. He's accused of running $1 billion cocaine cartel. Also, he's accused of murder, something the FBI director says puts him on par with some of the most notorious drug kingpins of all time.
He is a modern-day El Chapo. He is a modern-day Pablo Escobar, and he thought he could evade justice. But these brave men and women put together a prosecution package, put together an investigative package, put together an operation strategy, and here we are today bringing him to justice for trafficking hundreds of kilos of cocaine and also for the murder of innocent civilians.
Let's bring in NBC News Chief Justice and National Affairs Correspondent Kelly O'Donnell. Kelly, let's start with the charges and the alleged crimes he's committed. What's he facing here?
Well, there are 2 different indictments. This case has been going on for so long that they have multiple counts across those indictments. And really, when you think about this, this is for running a big operation that brought cocaine into the United States, into Canada. And then with that comes other related crimes. So he's also accused of putting a bounty on the head of a witness who was then killed, a witness who would have, according to prosecutors, testified against Wedding in a trial, effectively eliminating that access to information that would have been helpful in a prosecution, and others were killed as well. They also talk about the fact that in doing this, there's illegal use of certainly bringing money together and then laundering that money. Part of what we see in the evidence that's provided in the indictment is that because there's so much cash in an operation like this, someone like Ryan Wedding, according to officials, put a lot of that money in very collectible items. A huge collection of expensive motorcycles, art, jewelry, guns, and all of those kinds of things, a variety of these items valued at tens of millions of dollars, have been seized by authorities.
Yeah, including a $13 million Mercedes, I guess. Kelly, this guy has been on the run for so long. I understand that he turned himself in Mexico. Do we know the details of how that went down?
We don't yet. And specifically, Kash Patel, the FBI director, said he didn't want to talk about the operational details. What has been going on is there has been coordination between the United States and Mexico with different meetings going on and presumably some intel about where he has been. Then in November, just a few months ago, the Justice Department increased the value of the reward for information that could lead to the capture or prosecution of Ryan Wedding to $15 million. They did not disclose today whether that has been triggered by information that might have been provided by someone. So we don't know if the reward will be dispersed. But we are told he did surrender in Mexico City, and that was without incident. Now he's in federal custody. He was brought back from Mexico to Southern California, and on Monday afternoon, he'll make his first court appearance related to this range of charges. There are a number of other co-conspirators and alleged accomplices who were part of the operation. Again, a big, complex business, if you will, an illicit business. And Ryan Wedding is considered to be the head of that. So it is a complex case going forward.
In terms of the timeline, like so much of the world knew him from snowboarding and the Olympics. Do we know how he went from a Canadian Olympian to, as he's being described, a Canadian El Chapo?
Well, we don't have all the details, but we know that after he had that world-level, world-class athletic career, after that was over, and, you know, in athletics, people tend to move on at a young age. And some period of time after that, he did get into some drug problem at a much lower level. He had a past conviction for trying to obtain cocaine and traffic in cocaine. And then this, of course, is a far more expansive, far more complex, ultimately much more dangerous operation that the authorities say he has been running for years. And during that time, they also say he was protected by the Sinaloa cartel in Mexico. So he had friends in places that could help to conceal his whereabouts. And that long journey of being on the lam, a fugitive from justice, is over.
Yeah, concealing his whereabouts. He's a big guy. He looks like 6'3", 6'4" when standing next to those that are coming off that plane. Kelly O'Donnell, thank you so much. And some breaking news tonight from the Pentagon. The Department of Defense says they have struck another vessel allegedly carrying drugs in the Eastern Pacific. The department says 2 people were killed in this one. 1 person survived this strike. NBC News has reached out to the Coast Guard for the condition of that survivor. This is now the 35th strike on an alleged drug boat and the first of 2026. And in Minneapolis, sub-zero temperatures are not stopping protests against ICE. Huge crowds gathered today as an economic blackout was underway in Minnesota, according to organizers, and as outrage grows over the arrest of a 5-year-old boy there. NBC's Maggie Vespa has the latest.
Tonight, despite the brutal cold, a massive crowd of anti-ICE protesters flooding downtown Minneapolis. It's part of today's statewide boycott on work, school, and shopping.
What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you that you would do that to a child?
This as we learn new details about the case of 5-year-old Liam Ramos and his father, Adrian Conejo Arias. New video showing ICE officers escorting the preschooler into a black SUV.
Where's your humanity? That's a kid!
DHS says officers were targeting the father, who was here illegally and had a deportation order, though a family attorney says he came lawfully and had applied for asylum. DHS tonight saying it has no record of an asylum claim, adding Arias ran from officers abandoning his son, and Liam's mother refused to take custody.
Over those past 4 years, hundreds of thousands of children were trafficked across that border. We're definitely the experts at dealing with children, unfortunately.
We pressed Border Patrol Commander Gregory Bavino, who stressed Liam and his father are together in a federal facility.
We still have people saying that they're outraged at the idea of little kids being held in custody at all. So what do you say to those people, and what kinds of conditions are young children being held in?
As far as that family has not been separated, that child is in the least restrictive setting possible.
Tonight, a Texas congressman releasing video of the ICE facility where they're being held, showing libraries, schools, and basketball courts. All as a Minneapolis city councilman now says this 2-year-old named Chloe is in ICE custody after her father was arrested as the pair were driving home from the grocery store.
Maggie Vespa, thank you. And coming up, we are keeping track of that major winter storm moving across the country and how this is impacting travel for the next few days. The latest there, right after this.
Claire, 2 minutes.
Okay, we got 2 minutes. 2 minutes. All right, here we go. Whose birthday is it? Naya? Happy birthday, Naya. Let's see. The end. No, I was, yeah, because we went pretty deep into it with Hallie's, and you know, but we had the crosstalk, and I thought we didn't have it in the script, but it was there. So thank you. All right, what's little Ben up to? Look at that little guy. So Ben, you're the one that's on the chat. That's Ben on the chat. Oh my gosh, what a time to be alive. Yeah. 1 minute. What do you say? Aw, he's the one doing the happy birthdays? Nice. All right, here we go. We're going to circle back to what's happening with all of this ice and snow. So let's just check in. Who are we checking in with right now? Priscilla, right?
Yep.
Okay. So we're going to check in with Priscilla, see how she's doing. Favorite pizza topping, Ben? I bet I could guess.
10.
He's a pineapple guy.
Maybe 4, 3.
Hey, welcome back. Checking back on this winter storm starting to impact places like Kansas, Oklahoma, North Texas. We're talking snow, freezing rain, ice, and this is just the beginning. And let's check in with Priscilla Thompson in Richmond, Texas, near Houston. It looks like the lights are on behind you. How's the power grid holding up so far?
Yeah, Gotti, so far so good. Only about 13,000 power outages across the state right now. But of course, this winter weather is only just starting to move in here. We still have a long way to go. And just to explain to folks how exactly all of this works, we're at a power plant. This is the place that generates the power, but then that power travels on lines that are owned and operated by someone else. And then they make it to the Texas grid, which is owned by the state. And so you have a lot of coordination that goes on in terms of getting power to people. And so while the state is saying that the grid is going to hold, the other threat here is going to be the power lines and that heavy ice, that heavy snow that could potentially bring down lines that would require workers to go out and fix those lines. And so even if the grid does hold, we could still be looking at folks being without power for days, if not longer. Gotti?
And what kind of lessons did they learn from storms from the past where outages became a huge problem?
Yeah, 2021, the catastrophic failure of the Texas grid. And since then, the state grid has been weatherized. But you've also seen power plants like this one, the largest in the state, that have also sought to weatherize their equipment. I know here they have spent millions of dollars adding additional insulation and also this automated heat tracing that will trigger if the pipes and critical infrastructure drops below a certain temperature that could cause it to freeze. I want to play a little bit of how officials explained it to me.
One of the biggest changes we made was giving the operators, mechanics, electricians more visibility into what's happening on the unit, where historically they had to go out and check almost hundreds of miles of insulation and heat tracing and those sorts of things. Now we have controllers in place where they can see everything in real time.
And so this entire plant is managed in a control room. We were in that room earlier today where 24/7 someone is monitoring the output. They're using all of these mechanisms and panels to get that power to the grid. And if there's a problem, there's actually a red phone that they pick up and they're able to call and contact the state grid to let them know that there's a problem happening at this plant. But also if the state starts having issues, they can also call this plant and tell them they need to increase their output or whatever needs to change. So again, a lot of coordination to make sure that the power stays on and the heat continues to flow in homes across the state. Gotti?
Let's hope that that red phone stays in its cradle. Priscilla Thompson, thank you. Meanwhile, this is what the scene looks like at a lot of airports across central and eastern United States right now. Crews hard at work trying to de-ice planes before they take off. Airlines are now starting to cancel thousands of flights ahead of this monster storm. NBC's George Delis is at the airport in Charlotte, North Carolina tonight. George, for those traveling during this mess, I mean, what's it been like?
Maintain control of your carry-on items to prevent introduction.
Yeah, hey, Gotti. So, yeah, we've been here at Charlotte Douglas International for a few hours now, talking to travelers, some of them scrambling to get some of those last flights out before flights are grounded. We're going to show you here the departure board where when we first got here, a few delays, a few cancellations, a lot more red starting to pop up there. I'm seeing a flight from Shreveport, Nashville, Oklahoma City, Dallas, Fort Worth, where this storm event started. That's to be expected, and we're only going to see that start to ramp up. FlightAware estimating some 5,000, if not more, cancellations by the time the weekend concludes. Hopper, travel app Hopper, estimating some 15,000 delays by the time the weekend. So this is going to be a travel headache, a tumultuous travel period. Here all day, we've been talking to travelers, spoke to one woman who had to cut her vacation short because she said she feared she wouldn't be able to get out. She even said she brought back some Mexican pesos that she was hoping to spend. Obviously, that did not happen for her, but she obviously now has to wrestle with the fact that she needs to get to a store and buy all the supplies that she is going to need to weather this event. Here's what she told me. Take a listen. What made you make that decision?
We were afraid that our flights would be canceled and we wouldn't be able to get back for several days, and we didn't want that. This caught me off guard, and I am going to have to get it to the nearest store and stock up on the, essentials, bread, milk, and water.
Yeah, Gotti, a lot of people are going to be in a similar situation. We actually called a nearby store here as we look for supplies, many saying, yeah, we're running out of a lot of things. There's going to be more coming tomorrow, but obviously as the road conditions start to deteriorate, getting from point A to point B is going to be a big concern. But back here with the airlines, obviously we're going to see a ripple effect everywhere, but airports like Charlotte going to be impacted the most. And to that end, you have airlines like American, Delta, and United urging customers to reschedule, and in this case, they actually are waiving some of those rebooking fees, Gotti.
Yeah, I hope they waived him for that woman. She seemed so nice, and I really hope she's home tonight. It seems like she did the right thing. How are things looking for the rest of the weekend? Like, it's not even that bad. We are already seeing cancellations, and we know what is to come. We're talking, conditions that we haven't seen in quite some time, up to possibly an inch of ice in some places.
That's absolutely right. And some residents here saying, look, we've dealt with some cold weather, we've dealt with some frigid conditions, but this, at least according to that traveler I spoke with, really catching a lot of people off guard. Some people don't really know how to really perceive all of it. They don't really know what this is going to be like. Obviously, the power is going to be a big concern for people, especially as some of the things start to freeze over and ice. But right now, as far as travel goes, I mean, a lot of people are just trying to make sure they have their plan set. I mean, we're also talking about infrastructure, right? So people are making sure they have batteries, toiletries, everything that they're going to need or anticipate they might need, because even after this storm moves over, we know that frigid temperature is going to stick around for a while. So that's obviously going to cause some concern with de-icing of planes potentially. I mean, yeah, there's really no way to sugarcoat it. I think Bill Cairns has touched on it before. This is just, it's hard to find a silver lining right now until after this weather event passes, Gotti.
Yeah, such a big storm, and yet behind you got the whole cross section. You got people walking around in jackets. I saw a couple guys walking by in shorts. Hopefully they're headed out west here. George Solis, thank you so much. And still to come, there has been another peculiar sighting in the sky, so you know we're gonna dissect it. That's coming up next, what we're learning about a Dorito-shaped craft. That's next.
2 minutes.
2 minutes, all right. Well, at least we got good breaks, Lise.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Oh, Carrie Ann, I'm sorry, Charlotte. Okay. All right. We got Joanna Stern. She's going to be talking to us about AI. Don't do drugs, AI. Well, we'll see. Put the chair away. There's a couple of chairs in here, and I don't know where they go. Let's see. Tina. Ooh, yeah. That Charlotte situation. 1 inch plus 2 feet of snow. Yeah. Guys, you guys are about to get dumped on. Sometimes when that happens, my kids wish that they lived in a place with a lot of snow, and they ask us about going. And I used to live in New Mexico. We got snow once in a while. It's a Super Bowl commercial for the Doritos. Dude, Noodly Blessed, that actually, they did have that Super Bowl commercial. We're going to work that into the story, so make sure to watch. Stay tuned for the package that we're about to do with Stephen Romo. Snowpocalypse. Yikes. Jesse, I don't know about the timing. I was actually looking at the time. I know what you're talking about. I was looking at the timing on that, and it looks like they have not switched over from one theater to another. So I don't know what the timing on any of that looks like. Let's see. I was here in 2002, and we had a really bad ice storm. Power was out for several weeks. Oh, let's hope things have progressed since there. 77 inches, David? No, that's too much. Albuquerque, 2 to 4. Jackie, what's up? All right, here we go. This one's crazy.
4, 3.
All right, in tonight's Future of Everything, have you ever felt like your AI is always giving you the same type of response? Something logical and boring and mundane. Well, there's this new company known as Farm AIC that has introduced this different way of thinking for AI, one that involves apparently trying to get AI high by giving those chatbots AI drugs in the form of code modules. Now, they say that this digital pharmacy allows people to purchase the AI equivalent of narcotics, ketamine, marijuana, even alcohol for bots. Now, the company has also given the AI these, quote, drugs and saying that they will not result in hallucination or bugging out, but an engineered cognitive shift, allowing your AI to leave logic and repetition behind so it can generate more surprising ideas. So what exactly is an AI drug? Could this get artificial intelligence to, like, I don't know, not be so square and, like, expand AI consciousness? Here to answer all of our favorite AI questions and probably rolling her eyes at me right now is NBC News tech contributor Joanna Stern. Joanna, what's your read on this? Is this just AI taking some dank code here? Like, what do you think? What do you think this is going to result in?
Well, I should be completely clear. I did not get my own AI high for this segment because the cost of these code modules is like $50 plus. Like I have to pay like what seems to be the actual cost of real drugs to AI drugs. I actually don't know what drugs really cost, clearly.
No, I mean, I was considering doing that too, and then I was like, no, I can't expense something like this. Like, no matter some of my expenses, you know, this one definitely going to get flagged. However, Joanna, like, I have been messing with this throughout the day. Put aside the company here. I've just been prompting ChatGPT, telling ChatGPT to pretend like it's drunk, or I actually told it like you are high or you are coked up. Write something creatively, and it for me at least, it generated some very weird responses, something that I would like expect from, I don't know, somebody that might be drunk. But for some of my producers, it seemed to draw the line. It said, I can't pretend to be high or pretend to be using drugs. It was interesting to see like both of those things happening. First of all, what do you think is going on with the guardrails here?
Well, look, this has been the case with a lot of guardrails. There are ways to get around it. It depends also how long your conversation with the chatbot has been. That's a big known thing around getting around the guardrails. The longer the conversation can get, the more those guardrails start to break down. So that might have been what you were having and versus some of your producers were having. But it seems like this is a very clever company or a couple of developers, or maybe just one developer at Pharmacy AI. I'm probably getting the name wrong exactly, but that they have tried to figure out a few prompts and some code to upload to ChatGPT or Gemini or your AI chatbot of choice, where you're getting it to loosen up through that code, right? And so it kind of makes sense if you're feeling like all the answers you're getting from your chatbot are pretty stiff, but there are other ways, of course, to get these prompts or to get these chatbots to respond the way you want.
Yeah, I mean, at its core, like this is an attempt at jailbreaking or like poking some of the guardrails, but the bigger, more existential conversation, and this is the reason why I was like, we got to put this in the show, because there is something existential here. Humans are trying to push AI towards superintelligence and towards artificial general intelligence, and there has to be something that happens. It has to be some sort of creative spark that so far we have not seen. This seems like a kind of novel approach at doing that, maybe, but in terms of pushing a model in a way like this to maybe look for a spark of creativity, do you think that this could be effective?
I really think, having spent a lot of time with these models and really having studied what's being sort of now set as like sort of the end of some of these large language models and how far they can get with large language models, I do not think this kind of work is going to be what gets us to the next leap in what you're talking about with AGI or ASI. I think we're going to have to see significant technological improvements with the models for that to happen. Now, of course, these companies have made more and more tweaks to get that, and we are seeing these models improve really, really steadily through the years now. I will also say that I think the creativity of all of this comes from humans. I don't know if you've tried vibe coding yet, which is this practice of using AI to just write code and write apps for you. But what unlocks there is, yes, the models have gotten better. I've been Claude coding for the last week, just did a column on it this week. But what the real unlock is there is human creativity. You come up with those ideas, you prompt those ideas into the AI, and you come up with magical things. You don't need the AI to take magical mushrooms for it to happen.
You're such a coder now. I will ask, what do you think this says about humans, that there is a market for this? Again, like there is something marketable about, I think it's funny that I'm going to get my AI high, so I'm going to actually spend like actual dollars on this code that may or may not work. Like, what does that say about where we are in society right now?
I don't know, Gotti. When I was younger, I had like a sticker book sale, and I would say like that was not exactly marketable, right? Like I had a store and people never bought from the store. So I wouldn't say that this is a huge market. We don't really have the numbers of how many people are going here and paying $50 per, weed or cocaine or ketamine module. But I think, look, this is probably a result of vibe coding, of someone saying, hey, I can make this with my own chatbots, and I'm going to put it out there.
Yeah, you were just talking about the creativity, and it is very easy to go from like, hey, I've got an idea, boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, it's a very polished website and you're making some money. Look, if you were in my class, I would have definitely bought stickers from you.
Right, like
Joanna
I made a game. Oh.
You made a game. You better send it to me, and I can't wait to talk about it the next time we hang. Thank you so much. And speaking of AI, there's this viral new music artist known as Sienna Rose, and she or they are climbing to the charts, up in the charts. But listeners, they are raising some concerns about something they say is a little bit off about her music. NBC News entertainment correspondent Chloe Malas takes a deeper look into the impact of AI on the music world.
Sienna Rose is topping streaming charts and going viral on TikTok. I'm falling with you. But is she real or AI?
Is anyone else heartbroken about Sienna Rose being an AI artist?
The Instagram account linked from Spotify. These are AI.
On Spotify, Sienna Rose is listed as a neo-soul singer with more than 3 million monthly listeners, and she's on track to be one of the top new artists of the year. However, Rose has no verified social media presence and has never played gigs. She's also never responded to a request for an interview, including ours.
We detect artifacts, traces of a computer doing computer stuff. If you model it mathematically, you will see that there are some patterns that are very, very characteristic of how this generative model work. And you don't find the same patterns in human-created music.
Streaming service Deezer developed an AI music detection tool that says many, if not all of her songs have been flagged as computer generated.
Are you certain that Sienna Rose is AI?
Yes, we are. And again, we share the science behind it, and we actually provide tools for other people to verify it. At some point in the creative process, AI was used.
Now many listeners grappling with the fact that they couldn't tell that this was possibly AI.
I can't believe I fell for an AI artist.
Raymond Begson says he first listened to Rose's most streamed song, Into the Blue.
Automatically, I fell in love with the song. And I come to find out a couple weeks later that the song is actually made by AI.
But one TikTok account claiming to be Sienna Rose herself denies that accusation.
Well, I feel real.
Many TikTok users now suspecting this account of being AI generated too, pointing out disappearing lines and doors, unnatural behavior of Rose's hair, morphing of teeth, and numbers and letters not looking real.
It is super tough these days, but I'm looking for anomalies. I'm looking for the texture of skin.
While the jury is still out on whether Rose is or isn't created with artificial intelligence, Billboard says at least 6 AI or AI-assisted artists have debuted on various rankings, like Sanaya Monet, with more than 44 million streams. And last summer's massively viral band, The Velvet Sundown, topped Spotify's Viral 50. The creators behind both Sanaya Monet and The Velvet Sundown have openly acknowledged that they use AI.
I feel like there are so many talented artists that deserve their flowers, and listening to AI music just takes the spotlight away from those artists.
Chloe Malas, NBC News.
A whole new definition of creativity. Chloe Malas, thank you so much. And now to a topic that is a personal favorite, UFOs. Let's just call this a triangle, shall we? This was seen soaring through the Nevada sky. So what is it? Well, it's a mystery, but some people are saying it kind of looks like a Dorito chip, and they have a point, or technically 3 points because it's a triangle. NBC's correspondent Steve Romo tells us more.
A mysterious new object up in the sky over a highly classified Air Force facility in Nevada. And you may have heard of it, Area 51. Anders Ottesen, a videographer whose popular YouTube channel, Uncanny Expeditions, features videos of things he spots in the sky out west. He says it's rather ordinary to see stealthy planes like the Northrop B-2 flying overhead. You can see what appears to be one there, its jagged winged tail. But
Not
then,
all of them. Some of them I get to.
potentially extraordinary.
The aircraft that passed overhead this time appeared to be closer
right up
to an equilateral triangle shape with a flatter trailing
Sometimes
edge.
we're editing during
He
the
says
show.
it looks Dorito-like, and it's causing quite a sonic boom in cyberspace as a potential
Jesse, yes.
UFO.
Oh, by the way, I saw some of the
Addison
things you were
acknowledges
saying,
that it
and
definitely
I've
could
read,
be a plane we've seen before.
We can't
imminent-
definitively rule out a
we've been
B-2
talking
or other
to,
more conventional
Lou
blended wing
Elizondo,
aircraft pitched at an
I don't
odd
know,
angle
since
to
2000,
potentially
like
result in the appearance of a flat trailing edge.
Especially given the quality of this video and how far
very
away it
familiar
is.
with
But
all of
Addison
his
says the
work.
object he saw reminds him of this triangle-shaped aircraft spotted over Kansas and Texas back in 2014, which was dismissed then
That
as
was
a
2014.
B-2. There was also the so-called Dudley Dorito reappearing over the UK in December, almost 2 decades after it first fascinated folks. Beaming back to Nevada, Area 51, long in the cultural mythos for the
clearly got a
secretive government
contrail,
operations
right?
there.
Going
UFOs,
in one
or
direction.
unidentified aerial phenomena, UAPs
Not
as
like
they're
the-
also called, a big source of
Phoenix
fascination
Lights, which is
recently
super
on Capitol
sketchy.
Hill with a wave of hearings.
Do you believe, just for the record, that the federal government, any part of the federal government, is knowingly concealing evidence about UAPs from the public?
That was your
Yes,
grandpa
sir.
line?
100%. Yes.
Yes.
Let me be clear.
There's
UAP are real.
On
Lou
social media,
Elizondo.
others are pointing out this new sighting has an explanation grounded in reality. An aircraft, even if one still shrouded in secrecy.
Whatever we're looking
I mean,
at,
remember,
it
like,
would seem,
B2
at least, is something the
decades and
U.S. has
decades
yet
ago
to
when it was
disclose to the
developed.
public.
That was
We
when were
reached
using
out to the
pilots.
Air Force for
Like,
comments,
drones are
did
the
not immediately
new
get a response,
way of the
and don't
future.
necessarily expect to. And if all this talk of unidentified flying objects has you leaning back on your couch, remember, Doritos itself has leaned in to the alien theme. This is last year's Super Bowl commercial.
Remember?
The company
Remember this?
hasn't released its plans for the big game this year. So no word yet if those trails you see are made of nacho cheese.
Dang it, now I'm hungry. Steve Romo, thank you very much. Coming up, dance party in aisle 2, taking you inside a market that is going viral for their late night parties. But first, you got to see this. There's a little pup headed to the big leagues. Cypress, the black lab, works security at the Burlington International Airport. He's an explosion detective dog who loves keeping his airport safe, and his handler says he thrives in busy, high-energy environments and is trained to detect suspicious packages. And because he's doing such an amazing job, he has been selected to head to California next month as part of the official security team for the Super Bowl. Get this, Cypress isn't just the goodest boy, he's also the handsomest, clearly. He was featured as Mr. November in the 2026 TSA Canine calendar. Good luck, buddy. Oh, what a cutie. All right. Northrop Grumman, probably. An experimental government aircraft. They are off the coast of San Diego all the time. Yes, very likely. There's a very, new very likely. Theoretically, information could project welcome back. Up linearly in and cascade California's back Bay down Area, itself to the there's a universe. new late sounds complicated and too complicated for my brain, but I don't disagree. Labs are the best. Lisa, that's it. Triangle dog. Dog, it's a cute dog. Anyway, guess what? Rest of the show is in the knock, so we got to go. Yo, what's up? Tell me everything. This is Ben. This is your leader speaking, chat. Nice. That's really, I never even thought about that, Ben. What else? And what did you think about that Dorito? Do you think it's a Dorito or do you think it's a highly secretive U.S. spy plane? There we go. With that, we should probably be sponsored. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, our robots, no. Oh, they went back. Our robots did not crash. That was close. That was very close. Anyway, that's the show for us, guys, on the stream, but you can still watch on NBC News Now, anywhere else you get your platforms. Hey, Nick, Ben, sorry, Nick's your brother. Ben, can you tell them where they can watch the stream or our show? NBC News. Go on the behind the scenes one, the multi-view one, or you can watch the regular one, and you can watch it on Roku, and you can watch it on Samsung, and you can watch it on the internet, and you can watch it on TikTok, and you can watch it on YouTube. That's right. Ben, thank you so much for coming in today, and thank you, chat, for hanging with us, and we will see you guys on Monday. Can't wait. Have a good weekend, everybody. Be warm. See ya.